Welcome to the Nerdy Multiverse. Marvel's Halloween special, Werewolf by Night, has arrived, and this short movie was jam-packed with action, new characters, and more that have to be talked about. So let's break down what we can and give our thoughts on this brand new special. Now, we won't be going super in-depth about every little thing that was in the episode or in the background or what happened, but we will sort of just brush over the story and what happened in this special and explain these new characters and what they were like in the comics. Before we get started, we also wanted to give a quick spoiler warning for those that haven't seen the special, as we will of course be touching on it, as well as some comic book stuff, so you have been warned. Let's begin. The entire special until the very end is in full black and white to give off that sort of nostalgic vibe to older horror films. The story brings together a group of monster hunters who are going on another hunt to claim the artifact or relic known as the Bloodstone, which has been a part of the Bloodstone family forever, and it has to be passed down to a new owner as Ulysses Bloodstone has died, so the hunt brings Jack Russell and Elsa Bloodstone to join the hunt. Elsa Bloodstone being the daughter of Ulysses, and they explain in the special that she left the household and the family for about 20 years. When the hunt begins, Jack is the first to go out and begin, but he isn't there to hunt down the monster, he is there to save it, and we find out that the monster that they are hunting is none other than Man-Thing. Elsa and Jack end up teaming up so that he can save Man-Thing and so that she can get the Bloodstone in her possession, and their mission turns out to be successful, and they free Man-Thing and the Bloodstone is right in front of them, but Jack tries to pick it up and it sends him back because he is secretly a monster himself, and the hunters end up capturing him and Elsa. They put them together in a cage and are using the Bloodstone to transform Jack into the Werewolf by Night. Before Jack changes, he tells Elsa to not lose eye contact with him so that he can remember her and not kill her when he changes. When Werewolf by Night escapes from the cage, we get somewhat of a surprising and sort of brutal action sequence where he is tearing through the guards and Elsa is cutting down some of the hunters. They take down all of the guards and the hunters, and Jack is able to escape, but Elsa's stepmother tries to get her, but Man-Thing comes back and eviscerates her and throws her at the coffin of Ulysses, ending an era of hunting. When Elsa gets the Bloodstone and sits down after the fighting, the special turns to color after the majority of it being in the black and white format, and you can see that Elsa is wearing that orange jacket that she often wears in the comics. The special ends off after Man-Thing and Jack sit down on a log surrounded by a bunch of random junk and souvenirs that Man-Thing possibly may have gotten from the Nexus of All Realities or just from the Bloodstone's property. But the two talk about going to go get sushi, like how the Avengers went to go get shawarma. And the special ends off with that old 90s styled "The End" as the camera pans to the sky. Now, with the introduction of these three new characters being Werewolf by Night, Elsa Bloodstone, and Man-Thing into the MCU, I wanted to give a quick little insight on where they came from and who they are in the comics. Jack Russell was born in Transylvania, and he was a descendant of a man known as Gregory Rusoff, who turned into a werewolf in the year of 1795 after fighting Dracula. The werewolf curse running in the family got reactivated by Jack's father, Gregor, after he copied the Darkhold, which caused the curse to continue. He has never been a really well-known character or one that has gotten a ton of his own stories, so there isn't really too much to him in the comics as of now, although the name Werewolf by Night has been acclaimed to multiple different characters like Jack Russell, of course, as well as Jake Gomez. Elsa Bloodstone, very similar to what was shown in the special, was the daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone. However, she didn't leave the family for 20 years in the comics, and she grew up with her two parents. Her father would constantly test her by throwing her into hunting monsters even when she was only a child. When her father was dying, he begged her to kill him, but she refused, and she would very similarly take over her father's estate and the Bloodstone Gem, where she would eventually start her own monster hunting career. Man-Thing being my favorite out of these three characters to show up in the special. Before he became Man-Thing in the comics, he was known as Dr. Theodore Salas, who sought out to recreate the super soldier serum that Captain America had, but after being betrayed by his lover who gave AIM his lab's location, he ended up taking the serum that he created and crashing his car into the swamp, where he would emerge as Man-Thing. Man-Thing is not just a swamp monster though, he has a huge role when it comes to the cosmic side of Marvel actually, as he stands as the guardian of the nexus of all realities, a gateway to other dimensions. All three of these characters have been seen in iterations of the team known as the Midnight Suns, so that team coming to the MCU is growing ever so slightly to being introduced to live action. I also believe that Elsa Bloodstone has a high chance of being in the upcoming Blade movie, as the two both hunt monsters, which of course would include vampires, and they have had some interactions in the comics as well. But Elsa has also worked alongside Black Knight in the comics, who we know is going to be involved in the Blade movie and in Blade's future of the MCU. The supernatural side and more monsterish type of characters being introduced makes me wonder who could be next. Maybe Ghost Rider, Damon Hellstrom, Manphibian. Suppose we will have to wait and see who is next. This special was absolutely incredible. I had high expectations after hearing about it and seeing the trailer, and it turned out to be even better than I thought it would be. The special being in black and white actually was really cool, and it had that feeling of an old horror film with all of the different effects and music too. The amount of characterization that was able to happen in just under an hour was amazing and very, very impressive, and I really cannot wait to see more of these characters, as their entire portrayal and their dynamics between one another was funny, emotional, and entertaining, and leaving that bit of wanting more. This special had the perfect mix of everything in it, whether it was comedy, action, emotion, happiness, grittiness, and everything else that you could think of in between. When they started saying that this project was going to take the amount of blood or violence to another level for the MCU, I wasn't really expecting that to be true, but this definitely was more on that gritty side compared to other things that we have seen in the MCU, and I definitely think that the black and white helped a lot with making that. The director of this, Michael Giacchino, definitely did an amazing job and needs to be brought back for projects, especially ones that are within this sort of range. Maybe even the Blade movie itself, especially after they lost their initial director. I am really hoping that the rumors of Man-Thing and Elsa Bloodstone getting their own types of specials are true, because I need more of their characters. They were that great in this. The acting was great, the CGI and effects looked good and crisp, especially Man-Thing, who I thought looked amazing. Everything about this special was great, if I am being completely honest. This was definitely a step up in quality and everything else compared to previous projects and whatnot, and I think that this has to be one of my favorite things that the MCU has actually given us, and one of my favorite projects to come out of Phase 4. This format of being a short movie special was really good, and I think that if they continue to do this with certain projects or characters and having holiday specials, they can really help introduce more characters and short stories in a good way and not be super rushed and not be too long of a movie where someone gets bored, and it's just that short bit amount that gives you that special introduction to a character that will end up showing up in the MCU again sometime down the line. So I definitely think that these specials is definitely a route to go if they want to do more stuff just like this. If you couldn't already tell from everything that I just told you, I absolutely loved that special. Well, there you go, I just told you again. But anyways, we want to know what you all thought of Werewolf by Night, so make sure to leave your thoughts on it in the comments. But with all of that being said, that's about it for Werewolf by Night. Thank you all for watching. If you wish to see more nerdy content just like this, make sure to sub to the channel with notifications on. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And as I always say, we will see you all the next time that we go through and explore the nerdy multiverse.